Today, I want to talk to the single dads, okay? And I want to talk to you about becoming the MVP, the most valuable parent. So, here you are, for whatever reason, you're a single father, and your children really need you, and they really count on you. And the question is, how do you become that most valuable parent? Today, I'm going to talk about that right here in this video. Okay? Number one, time. Time is of the essence to our children. Time creates so much for us in the space that we have it. Time will succeed and supersede anything that you ever do for your children as long as you're making that time for them. Children love when their parents are present. What I discovered about time is this: the more time I spent with my children, the longer I spent time with their children, eventually they grow up. And let me share something with you. There came a time when my children told me, "Dad, we cool. You go ahead and get married. We good. We gonna be supporting you no matter how it goes." Okay. So time does bring about a change. But what am I saying right now? Time with your children is love to them. Okay. They want all of you. And yes, like anything else, picture this. You have given your daughter a doll, okay? And she wanted that doll for so long. But think about it. She takes up time with that doll. And for some children, it's only a short period of time and they put the doll to the side. Then you get to a point where some kids, they hold on to the doll for a very long time, okay? But I'm not saying you as a father is like a dog. What I'm saying, an example, is that children will spend time with you as long as they can handle it as children. Okay? And that's when my kids told me in the end, "Dad, it's time for you to get married." I think I had spent so much time with them till they were tired of me. So that's how all my situation got started. Okay? So time is important. You got to stop and look at how time can get by you. You're looking at your child at 5 years old, and then, Dad, you're in a situation now where it's devastating or it's a traumatic moment where you cannot see your child as much as you want. And next thing you know, that kid is 10 years old, okay? And now you're sitting down at eating or just looking and say, "Man, where has time gone? I remember this guy was a little 5 year old. Now he's 10 years old. He's coming up to my chest and his voice sounds like it's getting deeper." Or the young lady, is portraying herself and being emulating her mother more and more. She was 5 years old. Now she's 13. You said, "Man, she act just like her mama." Well, mama was the one that reared her, so it's that girl thing that's going on. That's that foundation. But you notice that over a period of what? Time. So time is of the essence. Time is important. You start recognizing time, you're going to understand why it's important to say, "I know I got to work this week. I know I got to work like this. I know I'm out of town. But you know what? When I get back, I'm going to put my kids and on the schedule, to where I can work around their schedule and they can work around mine." But what we're going to do, we're going to find time, okay? Because you're not going to get that space back once that day is gone, okay? So here's my suggestion. My suggestion is that you do sit down and say, "How can I make the most of the time with my children? If given the opportunity each day, each moment, each weekend to spend and share with each other, how can I spend it?" Now, sometimes our children enjoy playing sports. So we may spend time with them while they out there playing sports the weekend and all that. Because, a lot of time these leagues today, they'll take up your whole weekend, or your whole day. But you got to be willing to say, this is what I'm dedicating my time to. Okay. I'm giving my children this time. And hopefully, you can meet each child where they're at. Sometimes it would be a blessing if they can all enjoy playing the same sport, but that may not happen. Okay. Some children don't want to play sports. It didn't happen for me. I had one that played the sports and I got one that wanted to do music. So that just kind of split me. And I didn't like it. It was uncomfortable. But the thing is, time is of essence to those children. Okay. So start realizing time really spell love to a child. And they'll remember you long, long after those days. They'll be in college or they got their own family and they go to my dad, you remember this? You remember when you took us here? You remember when you did this? You know, especially those great memories, those things that you really did with each other that nobody can take away. And for a lot of us, it builds that intimacy of father, son, or father, daughter relationships. And everybody's cool, man. They don't understand how y'all get along so easy, because you spent that time with them. You got to know them. You went through the rough spots. You went through the good spots with them. So that's how you measure that time. I know I'm on time, pretty good length, but you have to know what time really means in the life of your children or your child. Okay, it's very important. I wouldn't take that for granted to save nobody. As I look back over the years that I spent time with my children that are now adults, and I got young ones right now that we have to spend time with. And I mean, it's serious. Okay, children love when their parents are spending time with them. Okay, it cuts a lot of things down. Okay, and then you're able to keep your eyes on your children a little bit closer, seeing their growth and development. Okay, so what about the single father that's facing obstacles? Hey man, you may be in a crisis right now. You may be in a crisis right now, and that crisis may be separation, it may be a divorce, or you got baby mama drama. Okay, now just remember, depending on the in-depthness of this thing, I can't measure the in-depthness of any woman situation with her man now, or man with his woman, or what have you. But if she's scalded or she's angry with you, you walking on very delicate water at all times. Ice. You just it's just one of those things, man. And here's the thing. How do you get your hand out of that lion's mouth and still enjoy time with your children, or even have a relationship with your children? You see, some guys think that because they're being put under child support, that's the worst thing in the world. They can just go, they start ditching and running and all of that, and then they're not really paying attention. Well, I can't afford to pay child support. Let me tell you something. In the legal system of things, where there's a will, there's a way. If you want to be the cause in the matter of your children's life, okay, you want to see things work out for them, okay, you got to work on overcoming that obstacle to be in their life, because time is of the essence, and that obstacle you are facing may just be temporary. Okay, sure she's upset, sure she's mad, sure she got all kinds of words to say to you, sure she can cuss you out like a drunken sailor, but that's cool, man, long as you can get hold of them children. Okay, so you got to understand, I'm just talking real, I'm just keeping it real, I'm just keeping it 100. Yeah, some women out there that's pretty angry, okay, with you as a man, and what you have done and what you have said. But now you got children involved. And the children become what? The number one weapon. For some women, yeah, the children are the number one weapon. To use against who? You. And then, not to mention that if she's the type that says, look at this low down, dirty so-and-so, whoa, at me, come on now. Now, how do you fix that? Well, it's possible. It's an obstacle that is possible to be reckoned with, to be dealt with, especially if she send you to the law. Think about that. You got to pay child support. If you're not beating on children and abusing children, what can they stop you from, having your child, spending time with your child? You might have said some things to mama, man, that you may wish you had taken back, and then there's some things you wish you glad you did say. That's neither here nor there. But I'm talking about the subject of children. You don't put the children in the middle of grown folk business, as the my elders used to say. We grown folks, okay? Now remember, I want you to always remember, marriage is for grown folks, okay? You can't have children in a marriage and not be grown folks, okay? You can't lay down with a woman or a man and not realize y'all grown folks. Y'all doing what grown folks do. So when it comes to those children, whatever the obstacles are, whatever you are facing, you got to realize, okay, that, hey, we have got to work through our issues. That's how you end up with the dysfunctional children, okay? But what about the guy that just ain't going to show up? Well, you got guys out there like that. You got fathers out there like that. So they can't be on the MVP list, most valuable parent. They just can't. They don't qualify for that. Only way you qualify for this is that you go ahead and go through whatever you need to go through, the obstacles. You go through the time that you need to share with those children. You go through everything that you need to deal with in perseverance with those children. Okay? You gotta face off with that. That those obstacles are gonna be there if the relationship is rough. Now, what about the single dad that, mother of the children died? Okay, that takes place, man. That takes real play. That's real talk. And he has to make sure this get done, that gets done. Those are the obstacles. Okay? Those are the obstacles that takes place in our life. And it can be challenging. But if you remember one thing, okay, is that there's always a way out. Okay? You may be just facing this with the woman being gone. Now you have to work with the children. Okay? Just remember, there are going to be tough days, but there's going to be more good days. Okay? And all you have to do is survive, not even survive, thrive. Okay? Thrive through those challenging days. And you'll begin to realize that, hey, those children are going to make it because you are MVP. You are Mr. MVP in their life. And that's all that's important to those children, okay? That you are Mr. MVP. All right? Now, last, how do you maintain this? It's called staying in integrity. And being in integrity is very important, okay? As long as you stay in integrity, what you'll discover is this, is that wherever you seem to be out of integrity with your children, just remember you have time to get yourself back in integrity, meaning keeping your word, doing what you said you was going to do for them, especially when they're old enough to understand. Don't allow your children to get to a point where they say, dad say that all the time, but he don't mean that. He don't follow through. Or dad, he'll say this and then he'll go do something else. No, if you're going to be Mr. MVP in your children's life, you have got to honor your word with your children. You have to make sure that your children understand that when you say, hey, I'm going to do this for you and such a day, and we're going to work through it. Now, if you come up short for whatever reason, at least allow it to be a legitimate situation where they could see, yeah, we couldn't go to the game because it rained. Yeah, we couldn't go because the snow kept us in the house. Let at least something like that, or dad had to work real late and mama explained it and everybody. So even though I don't like it, that's what children are. Even though I don't like it, dad did what he could to try to make sure that I was happy. Okay. My experience in life, man, with my children has always been based on the integrity of things. I haven't always been the best father, but in the same token, I don't think I've always been the worst of fathers. I've tried to be present with my children at all times. So I do know something about them over the years of their life. Even when I was with mom and not with mom, tried to stay present and be a present father. It's tough. It's tough because not all the time were good times. Not all the time was cooperative time because you got to understand divorce brings on those anger issues, and people don't always be happy, through that. And sometimes people go through messy divorce. I didn't go through necessarily what they call a messy divorce, but it was some anger there, and I'm not going to lie about that. I'm going to be real. And it does affect decisions, cooperations, all that kind of stuff, man, because people are hurt. Okay. People are devastated. Trauma is taking place. So you got to work through those things, man. And keeping your word to your children, no matter what the issue is very important. So this week, I want to challenge you this week to find out where you're out of integrity with your children and even with your own life first. Okay. And try to get to a place where you restore it. Or if you don't have to restore it, ensure that it's tight. Ensure that you have given thought on that, on the integrity of things in your children's life. So be strong and be encouraged, my brother. Until next time, be blessed.